Okay, so I was talking with one of my clients last week about agents and about deploying agents for other clients and about training people on how to build agents and how to deploy agents. And, you know, I am very risk averse. It's just who I am. I like to know and understand the risks before I implement anything new because I know that I'm very small in my business and that I can't afford the liability and the exposure of these bigger risks. And so, I thought, hey, maybe I've been overstating the risks of agentic AI for smaller business. Maybe I'm overreaching with that. Let me just go back and look into this a little bit more and make sure that I'm not overstating it because I don't ever want to be. I mean, I have on occasion been accused of fear mongering. That is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to raise awareness. We need to know the risks that are involved before we go down a particular road. It's part of due diligence in business. And so, anyway, as I looked into this, I might have understated the risks because the thing about it is that if you're an enterprise company, if you're Google or Microsoft or Amazon, and you have these huge teams to give you complex layered custom security solutions, it's probably not a big deal if you're using agents. But when you are a smaller business, when you are an entrepreneur, when you have a very small team, and maybe even a mid-sized business, you don't have all these custom enterprise solutions. You don't have people that are cybersecurity AI experts that are able to go through and do audit logs daily and all the things that are way above my pay grade. The rest of us, those of us that are using Claude, even if you have a business plan, right? Even if you have a pro plan, something like that, or any of the other LLMs, that's what we call public facing AI. We are not enterprise clients. We do not garner big security and custom solutions. And so there are thousands upon thousands of bots that are running daily from the cyber criminals in this space that are looking for us. They're looking for those of us that are small. We maybe have a small client base, but we have confidential information. We have personally identifying information in our emails, in our files, in other places. And so people like us that are operating at this level, if we're not able to operate at enterprise level, we need to be more careful about where we connect agents or where we use connectors. Now, there's plenty of use cases where an agent is not going to create the kind of vulnerability that I'm talking about, but there's so many more that are, right? And, yeah, you might think, oh, what's the big deal if I connect an agent to Canva? Well, I mean, the big deal is that it can still inject a prompt. It can still inject a prompt that would, go into an asset that you create or some malware, insert some malware that could still get deployed to others that are like clicking on that asset, depending on what that asset is. There are ways that prompts can be injected into any tool that you're connected to, asking it to reveal your sensitive data. So you just have to be aware of these risks. And all I'm saying is, I'm not saying be scared of agents. I'm not saying never use agents. I'm saying do your homework, make sure the agent that you're going to deploy doesn't have a specific security risk. And know that if you are not enterprise level, if you are using what is called public facing AI, and that's what any of these like monthly plans, these on Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, all these Pro and Plus and business prizes. If you are not enterprise level, you don't have enterprise level security. And the estimates are that these public facing AIs, Claude, for example, Claude's own numbers, they say that they are able to catch, stop and prevent, right? Catch somewhere between 1 and 50% of the attacks that happen. And remember, thousands of bots running daily. So this is, again, I am not trying to spread fear. This is about awareness. This is about education. This is about just checking into and understanding the liability and exposure that you're stepping into. You should definitely always consult an attorney. I am not an attorney. I cannot give legal advice. This is not legal advice. But you should understand what's actually going on and what the actual risk is out there before you deploy any agents. They are great. They are amazing. They can do wonderful things. But we also have seen the debacles that have happened just since January of this year with OpenClaw, with some other agents. And some of these things even happened with enterprise level companies. So please, 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 just because we can doesn't mean we should. Be careful, be diligent, be thorough in your understanding of the ramifications before you deploy an AI agent, especially on behalf of a client, because then you have increased liability, again, which you should go see your attorney about, who can advise you, because I cannot. But hey, the risk is out there. Please be aware. Please be diligent. Please, please adopt AI responsibly for yourself and on behalf of the clients that you serve.